Hey everybody, today we're back in the Yellowhammer area, and there's two sawmills back here that I can find no reference to in any literature, or they're not on any maps, and I can't find any solid information on them, although we can tease out a few things. So this is Forest County Outback number 10, the Mystery Mills of Yellowhammer. Now you may notice I'm working without a cameraman again today. There's a nasty flu going around. So here I am by myself again. Now when I talk about the Yellowhammer area, that encompasses Brecht Road, Kiefer Hill Road, parts of the Beaver Valley, Otter Creek, and as far out as the Piney Meadows area, which is actually on Queen Creek. That encompasses a very large area. We happen to be on the upper reaches of Otter Creek today. And I said we could tease out some information about this mill here. It was serviced by a railroad siding. There was a logging railroad up this far that was active from 1900 to 1910. And there's a railroad siding coming in here, so we can safely date it to that period. Now the question that arises is that at that time this area was almost exclusively controlled by Wheeler and Duesenberry, and they at that time had the Endeavor Mill and they had the Newtown Mill, and they were bringing their logs into these two areas by logging railroad rather than doing any sawing out on site. So, you know, why was this mill here and whose was it? What I was able to find out is there was a contractor by the name of Brown who had a logging camp up in this area. And he was a contractor for Wheeler and Duesenberry. Then I did find reference to, on occasion, Wheeler and Duesenberry did have contractors who set up small mills and cut off some isolated tracts of timber and sawed them there, and then they hauled the lumber down to Endeavor. So we can assume that that's what was going on here. So let's take a look around here. And there's some interesting stuff here. Now it's hard to see there, but that is the siding that came in here. The main line of the logging railroad goes on up that way, and it dead ends about a quarter mile up the valley. So what we have here is remains of the boiler, or the boiler house. Now, as far as any of the camp buildings that would have been here, they were temporary wooden structures. They'd be gone. There's a couple places here that look like they may have been dug out for cellars. And I said there was some interesting stuff over here in the stream. Are several timbers. Got one here, and I'm not sure if that one is or not. But further out there's another one. But then you see how here there's timbers down each side of the stream here to form some kind of a raceway. Although this was obviously a steam-powered sawmill. Sometimes they built the mills over the stream and just dumped the waste right into the stream. And that's kind of looks like what was going on here. No photos, obviously. This timber lines up with those ones there. That one over there lines up with that one. I would say actually that this is probably a timber from the mill, and this one here also. This one here is badly deteriorated, but there's places where it looks like it was flattened. And this one also, okay, again, it's badly eroded, but it does look like it was square. It was a square timber. We'll go up here and I'll show you the really neat one. Looking down from up above, okay, the layout on those timbers, it becomes very obvious. Sometimes you just got to walk around till you get the right angle and it all comes into focus. But over here, this here is squared, and you can add, or well, not that, that one, and then this one here, and this one you can actually see the axe marks in it. Too much reflection. But there are axe marks in that timber. That one, I think, is just a tree that got washed down. Or maybe not. It was... well, maybe not. It was cut on this end. Huh. Yeah, that was sawn. Okay, look at that one. I just noticed that. See how it's got those notches in it? Oh, I wish we could find a photo of this. It looks like they may have had logs all the way along here to reinforce that bank, or the channel. That's interesting. Those notches in that log. I've been here several times. That's the first time I've noticed that. Doesn't matter how often you go to a spot, you can always find new stuff. Okay, not only do we have those notches, I wonder if that's the log it was sitting on right there. But anyhow, and I should have noticed this before, that end has been shaped. Should have seen that before. Let's see if I can get another angle on these axe bars. I don't think so. There's too much reflection there. Very interesting. And is this a piece of metal here? Yes, it is. Some kind of metal strap. I'm glad I came back up here. Thought I might be repeating myself, but I guess not. All right, so well, that's one sawmill. There are some pieces of boilerplate in here, buried under the leaves, but I've seen them at other times. Very thick, very heavy. I think there's one here. Yeah. and a brick. Okay, let's head on to the other mill. Hey, we're at the other side of that. We're at the site of that other mill, and this one is on the upper reaches of Piney Run. And similar situation to the mill we looked at already. This was area owned by Wheeler and Duesenberry. This mill was serviced by a logging railroad spur about the same time frame, 1900 to 1910. So we can kind of assume that these people were under contract to Wheeler and Duesenberry. They were actually sawing for them. But I can find, so far I have found absolutely no information on this at all. But there is some interesting stuff here. There's the boiler house. That's how we know the mill was here. And then the railroad grade came right up over there, and right over there in the creek are some very large timbers. The railroad grade went right across it, and it continued up that way for maybe 100 yards or so, and then it dead ended. And there's also another foundation up here, so let's take a look around, see what we can find. Now, the boiler house is always the focal point of one of these sites, mainly because it's usually the only thing recognizable as there having been a sawmill here. So this is kind of the open end. This is where the boilers would have been fed, and you actually have a space down here kind of dug out and squared off where they would have been working. And I had no idea this mill was here. I found it purely by accident. I was actually just following that old railroad grade over there. Because I found that was years and years ago when I found this. Now there's another foundation up here. I have to believe that this would have been the sawmill, because there's nowhere else around there. There's no room on the other side to have put the mill. So figure it had to be up here. Of course, this would not have been a very big mill. So you've got some stones in the center there, and some kind of trench on the back side here. And I have looked around here before. I don't see signs of any of the camp buildings. There are some open spaces over there. That's probably where they were. But they were temporary wooden buildings. Any sign of them would be long gone. And the railroad grade came right across there, and as I said, there's some timbers over there, very large timbers, it carried the grade. You can see where it went up that way. So let's take a walk over there and see what we can find. You see these, some very large timbers in here. They've been squared. But the, excuse me. And then there's some bigger ones over, bigger and better, well, not bigger, but better preserved ones over here. Again, I don't know how that's going to show up with the reflection, but there's 4 very large square timbers sunk in the creek bed there. And this is right in line with the railroad grade up there. And it continued on down that way. Now down below the boiler house in the stream, we have this brick. It starts with the initials WB. I've seen those ones around before. I don't remember what the rest of it is. In fact, I should have pointed out that for the mill site we were just at, there were some bricks there with WB on it. So now they were getting bricks from the same supplier. Hey everybody, that's it for the Yellowhammer Mystery Mills. I'm going to keep digging on these, see if I can find any more information. If I do, I'll post it, keep you updated. Now, the last couple videos, I started a segment at the end that included bloopers, if I have them, and I talked about some subjects that I thought might be interesting, but really didn't fit in a video anywhere. I forgot to mention today's, which was, how did this channel get its name, The Outback? Well, if you talk to people about this area, 95% of what they will talk about revolves around 2 things: Tionesta and Marionville. And, you know, they might say, well, yeah, there was some other stuff happen. Well, that's what this channel's about. It's about the 5%, the other stuff. And I think it's just as interesting as anything that happened in Tionesta and Marionville. But it happened in the woods, out here in the woods, out back in the woods. So that's kind of where the channel got its name. So if you happen to like that channel, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit that little bell icon. That'll let you know that there's a video up, so you don't miss one thrilling moment of whatever this is. And share, and we will see you on the next one. Okay, thanks for watching. Stay warm. It's getting cold out here. Hey everybody. Everybody, that's it for the Tionesta. No. Everybody, that's it for the